This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
This episode is brought to you by Bumble, who says Valentine's Day is just for couples. Just because you're not in a relationship doesn't mean you can't get out there and live your best love life. That's where Bumble comes in. This February 14th, you can flip the script and give those relationshipers a friendly dose of FOMO. Say no to staying in this Valentine's Day and yes to more. More dates, more first kisses, more gossip for the group chat girlies. Do Valentine's your way. Date now on Bumble.
This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is bursting with delicious cherry flavor and a sweet, crisp taste that gives you more to go wild for. Getting wild may look different these days, but whether it's opting for a solo Friday binge watch or a big night out, everyone can indulge in their wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. Also available in Zero Sugar. So grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hi there, Duke fans. Welcome to episode 570. Yes, 570 puppies in the book of the Duke Basketball Roundup. I'm Jason Evans, here for your listening pleasure. It is a Sunday afternoon. There's no Duke game this weekend, but we've got a very special episode for you nonetheless. Joining me, as always, is Donald Wine. Donald, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. This is a big week of Duke basketball and Duke football. I'm really excited. I know later on this week, we're going to have a big Baylor preview. And then obviously we have the football game, but I'm excited about the guests that we have with us today. So let's get right to it.
Yeah, exactly. So folks who listen to the podcast, when they heard our recap of Georgia Tech, may have some clue as to what we're doing on the podcast today, because as I was walking into Alexander Memorial Coliseum, or whatever they call it, I think they may have changed the name of
McCain's,
whatever it is.
Yeah,
McCain's. Hey, I've been living in Atlanta so long, it's always Alexander to me. As I was walking in, I was at a stoplight about to cross the street, and there was a nice woman in front of me who was wearing a bedazzled jacket that said McCain on the back. And I said to myself, I'm like, that's either the greatest Jared McCain fan of all time, or that's his mom. And it was his mother.
Or both.
Yeah, exactly. It probably was both.
Exactly, both.
It was Gina McCain. She was standing next to a tall gentleman who I have since learned was Lance McCain, her husband. And they join us now. Gina and Lance, thanks so much for joining the Duke Basketball Roundup.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lance, by the way, I'm going to start with a question. How tall are you?
6'4".
6'4". So yeah. Your son is almost your height, but Gina, you're not quite as tall, right?
I am about 5'1.5", maybe. Yeah, no. And by the way, I believe Lance is 6'5".
Oh, okay. Expectations, right? No expectations at 6'4" that there are at 6'5", right?
Same thing.
Listen, by the way, we're going to get to you guys all being athletes and stuff like that in a little bit, but I'm going to let Donald start things off. And by the way, a little later on, I've got some questions that were submitted by some of our listeners that I'm really interested in hearing your answers to, but let's let Donald get it all started.
Yeah, and I think the first part is, as Jason mentioned, we've had quite a few Duke basketball players on this show to give us the perspective about life at Duke and as a basketball player, but we haven't had many parents. So particularly Duke basketball parents. So we wanted to give our listeners a sense of how some of this works to the extent that you're comfortable sharing. You obviously hail from California, which is not close to Durham when you look at any map. It's the other side of the country, but you still made it to quite a few games. What was that discussion like between yourselves and with Jared and trying to figure out how to support him? Did you say, hey, it's Duke, we're going to every single game possible? Or did you have to, figure out, according to schedules, picking and choosing some of these games?
So I don't know if anyone is aware about our other son as well, Jace.
Yes.
And
I was going to ask about him, but go ahead.
Yeah. So it kind of wrapped it all up, because since he applied for the master's program out at Duke and then got accepted, and then he applied to be a grad assistant, there was nothing in California that we really needed to be there for. So we decided to make the move. And that way we could be here the whole season, be, support in every way, if they need food or whatever the boys need, we are here, and we will go to every game, away game and home game. So that's kind of how we feel like they're our life, really, So we felt like what better way to, enjoy it is this journey is crazy that we're on. It's unbelievable in a lot of ways. So to have both boys here, why not just be with them all the time? So.
And really quick, Lance, I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe you work for Southwest. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm a flight attendant for Southwest.
So I guess if you have to go to road games, that makes it a little bit easier.
Oh yeah. Flight privileges.
Yeah, I mean, I fly a lot, as Jason knows. I travel quite a bit, and that makes it a little bit easier to get, especially, Duke plays a national schedule. They're not just confined to North Carolina. Look, most parents in this situation, this position, talk about how they want to see their kids excel in their sport, but they also hope that they take part in the college experience. You guys moving across the country, knowing that your kids are going through this for the first time, not just individually, but in this case together. Playing basketball at Duke or being on the team is a unique college experience, but what parts of any do you want Jared to experience in his time at Duke?
Just experiencing that independence. Like we pretty much like stay out of the way of everything else. He goes and gets shots up, and we kind of have a habit of just watching, but I mean, he goes his way and does his thing. And that's important to me. I know it is to Gina also, that you want him to, go experience it, have fun with it. Both boys really, but I keep forgetting that Jace is he's what, 25 years old, 24 years 24. Old. And it's just like, we still we get caught up in like it's still our kid, but he's a young man. So
yeah, I'm constantly find myself telling Jared, this is your college experience. I don't want to interfere. Enjoy yourself, but I'm here. And he's constantly saying, Mom, I want you here. This is different than normal experience. I want you here. I need you here. So it works out. We try to keep our distance, but he calls us, we eat together, we hang out. And like Lance said, pretty much, every night, Jace will rebound for Jared, and we'll go and watch. We'll help rebound unless they have a manager. But yeah, so we're in the gym with them pretty much. That's when we get our time with Jared, is in the gym.
like I said, a very unique way to spend time with your sons in the gym. It's not something that everyone has the opportunity to do. And I think we're both glad that you're able to do that. Listen, on the other side of things, Jared has become a social media sensation well before he got to Duke, has a ton of followers on TikTok. When he started making some of this social media content, of course he was in high school, but what was your role like as parents in helping him navigate that world? Because that world is still a new world to all of us, and how you can maximize a lot of different things, especially exposure.
Yeah, it totally took us by surprise. And if you talk to him, he'll tell you, like, it was during COVID, and he always has loved to dance. Like when he was little, I have pictures of him dancing and singing and, doing that. So I knew that that's always in him. But then he started just posting it, and we were like shocked. Like, why do people want to see him dance? We did not understand, like, what is going on. So,
and by the way, it's little snippets. It's 10 seconds of dancing.
Right. But I remember when he was like, Mom, I've got 10,000 followers. And I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense. We were so surprised. But to be honest, he has been in control and been the navigator of this whole social media. He is really, really good at not reading a lot of the responses, and Lance and I, we have a whole different thing. We tend to read them, and then we want to reply, and we don't reply. But our kids, Jace and Jared, are both always like, Mom, just ignore it. Don't look at it. Dad, don't respond. So we don't respond. But we definitely we let him kind of be in control. But now that he's with an agency, things have definitely changed. We do a lot more. He does a lot more ads and things, and they're totally involved in a lot of the stuff that's posted with. He still is in full control of what dancing stuff he does. But of course,
Very picky.
Yeah, he is very picky. I'll give him a suggestion. He'll be like, no, Mom, just stop.
Well, real quickly, he has a bunch of dances on TikTok and social media. Which one's your favorite? Is there one that sticks out to you? Like, yeah, you should be doing this one more often. Or if he played football, would that be his touchdown dance?
I like the one with at EYBL. I guess 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago, I think it was.
He started this trend, the 8 o'clock in the morning, and then the ski dance, both of those.
Mm-hmm.
And those, he did those same dances like probably 100 times each. And everyone, I love it. That's kind of a brand of his. But when he first started, he was doing this, the Drake Tootsie dance. It was.
Yep.
It was,
Tootsie Slide, yeah.
I thought that was so cute. I really just thought that was cute. So, and my niece was doing it with him, and so I thought that was so sweet.
And even a part of this, social media, which again has not been around that long, but even more recent, has been the ability to make money off of it. Have you guys kind of been shocked at how much of a moneymaker it has become, and how he's kind of been able to capitalize some on that?
We are shocked.
Yeah, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. It was like all of a sudden. So it really like showed us the power of the media and these followers and all of it. It's just been amazing, really.
We were blessed to be in California, to where in high school he could capitalize on that, and he did it to the fullest extent. We're amazed how this has taken off, and what he's done, and the people that are in our lives now that help us, guide us in this whole big journey. It's crazy. Very proud of him. Very proud of him.
He handles it well.
I have to know. Like the first time that you looked at one of his videos and saw 1 million, 2 million, 3 million views on them, that had to have been like just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that really made it even real, because when you look at the numbers, it's almost like it doesn't come full circle until you actually go out and people are coming up to him all the time. And like we're in Hawaii and we're on vacation, and people are screaming and running towards him, and we're like, this is unbelievable.
Eating dinner, and he doesn't turn anyone away typically. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Gina, I have to ask, you're in a number of his videos. How many takes does it take to get a TikTok just right? And does it ever get like exhausting? Like you're on, is it ever like a dozen, 20, 30?
No. Okay. So with Jared, he's really quick. Like he learns dances really fast, and he wants me to learn dances fast. And I'm 57 years old, and that doesn't happen the same. So he gives me no time. He's like, okay, Mom, I want you to do this dance with me. He gives me, I swear, we get like maybe 3-4 chances. That's it. I get like 4 chances, and he'll be like,
then he goes, you're done.
Half the time I'm like, no, this is not good. And he'd be like, Mom, it's fine. And he'll post it. And there I am.
That seems smart. I had this vision of him spending hours on each one.
No,
I'm glad to hear.
He would not even do it if it took lots of time. I
Yeah.
don't think.
no.
Hey, I want to get to a little bit of basketball stuff. I mean, we've been having great fun, but parents are always both their child's biggest supporter and harshest critic. Give us your assessment of Jared's play thus far this season. And by the way, one of our listeners noted that Jared has the second most defensive rebounds of anyone on the team to Kyle Filipowski. Was he like a strong rebounder in high school? Has that surprised you?
No, he's always been a very strong rebounder. Very strong. Top. He was always one of actually, I think he led the high school team in rebounds.
Yeah. All right. So the rest of the assessment though. Yeah.
I used to tell both my boys like coaches like guards that rebound. And so they always kind of had that element to their game, like, go get a rebound especially when the ball's not falling. I think an assessment for Jared this year has been, I feel like he's been solid, but he hasn't, the ball hasn't fallen the way that we're used to seeing. And we were just sitting waiting to see when that explosion would come. And that's the way I look at it, like, because it's powerful. You're making shots. It's just a killer for other teams when you keep hitting threes or just getting a bucket. It's just powerful, and he's been a little bit lacking in that, but I feel like he's turned the corner, and hopefully we can get some consistency from that.
Speaking of his play thus far, I always think the transition to college hoops must be so difficult for these high school stars. These are guys who are the best player in their county, probably in their state. And the eye opener to be in college basketball and suddenly be like, hey, I wonder if I'm one of the 5 best guys on this team. I wonder if I'm going to start. Right. It must be a real challenge. Talk a little bit about how has Jared, you think, responded to that?
I think, okay, so one of the great things that he has learned is to try to keep as even kill as possible, not get too high, not get too low. So I think although he will work harder than anyone to try to get that, I mean, it's almost like, he knows he may or may not start, so he's really challenging himself, like, I'm going to do anything and everything I can to be the best on the team. That's what his mindset is. And so I feel like he's only going to, like Lance was saying, the consistency of his play is just going to continue because he's still working so hard. He never gets too low. And I think that that helps for sure.
Lance, I want to ask you really quick. You played college basketball, I think, at the Division II level. Am I correct about that?
No, I graduated high school in 1979. And I was 16. I was 16 years old.
Oh, wow!
Went off to college, and I had letters from everywhere. It was kind of crazy back then. Letters were like a thing,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I had letters from somewhere everywhere. Harvard, Yale, Princeton. I had Notre Dame, the Annapolis, the Naval Academy, all kinds of places. It was schools in Texas. It was pretty crazy, but then everything just stopped, and I don't know I really don't know what happened, but I went on and played. I played 2 years at Midland College. I played with a little guy named Spud Webb.
I read that. I was hoping you were going to tell us about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. I used to have to guard him in practice, and I hated him because he was so fast. And I would have to try to get that. To this day, I hate him for that, but it was fun playing with him. We had a lot of fun playing together. And he actually came and I believe he saw both of my boys play, and kind of gave his assessment. He had said about Jared. He had said, "Oh, he's gonna be fine." He came, watched him play, and And it was just fun for that to happen, for him to be able to see him play. And I know he's a basketball fanatic himself, and now golf. You know, once he retired, he plays a lot of golf.
So I want to get to a couple questions that we got from some of our listeners on the Duke Basketball Report forums. First one was this: what was the most important factor about Duke and Coach Shire that made all of you decide that that was the best place for Jared to play college basketball? Jared obviously had his pick of schools, I would imagine. What was it about Duke, and what was it about John Shire that sold you? I guess I should say sold him.
Yeah. And that was a thing too, is that this was Jared's decision. It was we tried to not get into any of that, you know, as far as, I mean, we just give him information about what we thought about the school or whatever. But we had a village of people that really kind of had a little part in it. One is Shay, who is a trainer who has trained Jared since like middle school. He came with us on the trip and was addressing a lot of the basketball issues. And then after,
was he impressed with the Duke facilities?
Yeah. Every seems like everyone is. You know, and he just he helped with a lot of the basketball stuff, but just talking to Coach Shire, and we actually talked to Coach K a little bit, and it was it just, when we left Duke, Jared pretty much was like, "It's Duke, Dad," and we were like, "Well, I don't think that's a bad choice." But before that, we were kind of leaning towards Houston.
Really interesting.
A lot of respect for Sampson and that whole family. I mean, I love those guys, but it was just you know, Jared made his decision, and we roll with it.
We came out on the you know, the first visit. We kind of were just like, we've got to just check it out. We got to give it a chance, right? You know, and Coach Shire, I feel like his recruiting skills were bar to none. He definitely won me over, and
always win the mama.
Yeah. We really just liked what we felt was the culture here, and yeah, Jared. You know, also that's what I was going to say. The platform for Jared, you know, being in the social media platform himself, this was such a you know, big. Duke has so much going on with the social media and all the stuff. So we felt like that was a really good fit as well. So yeah, we just when we left, we talked about it a little, and he was like, "That I think this is it," you know.
Well, we're sure glad that he made that decision, that all of you made that decision. Hey, I want to know, you talked about people, you know, running up to Jared and wanting to meet him. Is he now better known, or, you know, like at family reunions and in your community, is he better known for being a Duke basketball player or for being a TikTok star?
So that's funny, because there was one point back probably when he was a junior. Yeah. Where he had his TikTok fans and he had his basketball fans, right? And they hadn't like meshed. And so people did not know that he was both. And I would say now majority of the people who come up to him, they know him for everything, you know.
The whole package, yeah.
Yeah. And then also, I don't know if you know about the YouTube series that he was on.
Yes, yeah, I did hear. Yes.
So that's another layer that it helped kind of put things together too, because people saw him basketball and then they saw him TikTok as well. So yeah.
All right, last question. And I'm not going to go ahead and ask you if Jared is going to be one and done, but I do want to know if you've talked at all about his NBA future, and what kind of things do you think you're going to think about when it comes time to make that decision about staying at Duke or looking at the NBA draft, whenever that might be? I mean, like, if you hear he's almost automatically a first round pick would you say, okay, you should definitely go? Or is it that you want his skills to be at a different point? Have you all thought about or talked about when that moment happens?
We've definitely talked about it, of course. I feel like, I don't know.
It'd be like, I think there are multiple people that would be involved with that decision. But I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where if a team was to say they're going to take him in the first round, I mean, it's almost, and the coaches were all saying, yeah, I think that'd be a good thing. And then people that are close to us that know a lot about this stuff.
Our agency.
Yeah, the agency would be involved, if they really believe that, that he should go.
They'll definitely.
I think he would go if all those things lined up. But I personally was like, whoa, I didn't really see that coming. I figured we'd be here, 2-3 years. I mean, 4 years. I mean, we really didn't.
I love you, Daddy. I love you.
But like I said, the agency really plays a big part in it. And then also when we came to our visit, well, Jared too, but Coach K, when we had talked to him, he said it very clear that, we let these boys know when they should go. And when it's time, like if they don't, they'll give their personal opinion. I think that's great. I'm sure Coach Shire would definitely be like, look, I don't think, or I don't think it's time for you, or, hey, you need to get out while you can, kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
and they got a little bit of a success at that here at Duke.
Right.
Just
exactly.
a little bit. Am I allowed to ask? Did you guys buy your place, or are you renting? And I'm wondering if it's a 1 or 2 year lease.
Back when Jared was being recruited, when they asked, I think Shire may have asked him how long he might be here, or what does he see? And Jared said, I want to be here 4 years. He said that. So the biggest
things may have changed since
then,
but
the biggest decision maker in exactly. But the biggest person in all of it is Jared. Like, we can talk all day about, what we might think is better or whatever, but he has the final say, and it all will be based on all parties involved in it.
So wait, one quick question I do have, going back to being parents of a Duke basketball player. We talk about the brotherhood all the time and how that camaraderie exists within the ethos of Duke basketball and even beyond, when they go to the NBA or even just in life. What is the parenthood like? What has it been like interacting with some of the other Duke basketball parents that either come regularly to games or get in your situation that may come to games regularly or not? How have you been interacting with some of the players or parents of the players on the team?
Everybody's been awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we, after the games, we get to sit by some, and then we get to go afterwards. We go to the family room and we all hang out in there, and everybody has been so nice, so positive. It's a great bunch of parents, and I really feel like that's one of Coach Shire's things, that he chooses parents as well as the kids. Like, I think that it's a whole
Amen.
package, and I think that's a very positive thing for sure.
Well, Gina and Lance McCain, we cannot thank you enough for giving us your time today. A lot of interesting insight into your son, into the Duke program, and into what it's like being a parent. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And by the way, good luck to Jared moving forward. We are rooting for him tremendously, both because you guys and he are great, and because we're Duke fans. And if he does well, we all do well. So
for sure. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This episode is brought to you by Bumble. who says Valentine's Day is just for couples. Just because you're not in a relationship doesn't mean you can't get out there and live your best love life. That's where Bumble comes in. This February 14th, you can flip the script and give those relationshipers a friendly dose of FOMO. Say no to staying in this Valentine's Day and yes to more. More dates, more first kisses, more gossip for the group chat girlies. Do Valentine's your way. Date now on Bumble.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
All right, we're back from the break. Donald, dude, that was fun.
That was great. Awesome.
Yeah, you can see
Jason, real quick. The listeners can't see this, but I will tell you that throughout this entire interview that we just had with them, Gina McCain was smiling the entire time.
I was just gonna say, you can see where
the
Jared
entire
gets his personality
time
from. Yeah,
it's incredible. And it was just you could tell the pride that they have for their son and just how far he's come, just in all aspects of life, right? Not just the basketball, but the TikTok and everything, and just the way that he has developed into, just what seems to be a tremendous young man. And the only thing that I could see that I want to relate to these listeners that they couldn't see was just that pride was on their face. The smiles that they had, answering the questions the way they did, it was all straight out of love and pride and just admiration for, what Jared McCain has been able to do.
Yeah, there were some really, really nice moments. By the way, for folks who didn't know about their other son, Jace McCain, who is a grad assistant at Duke, I think that's a great part of this story that I think a lot of people don't know about. And the little nugget there, to me, this is incredible. The fact that every day Jared goes out there to shoot, his older brother, Jace, goes out to rebound, and his parents help rebound as well. This is a huge family thing for them. They are a family of athletes. We talked about Lance playing with Spud Webb. My God, I mean, the stories he must have. A lot of fun. Jace obviously played Division II before he became a grad assistant at Duke, and Gina was a track and field I think it's Sacramento State. Yeah, so this is a family of athletes, and their commitment to helping Jared to be all he can be. You just heard it again and again in there. And that's what it takes to reach the levels that he has reached. And
I'm glad that, Jason, that you were able to bump into him at a basketball game to get them on the show. What a great set of luck that you had, luck and circumstances. But I think what's great about having parents on here, like you said, we don't get that many parents of players on the show, or even just be able to talk to them in depth about what it's like to be a parent. So to hear about some of the decisions they had to make, them moving to Durham feels to us like an easy decision, but that's a difficult situation to uproot your life and move it across country for the sake of, being the support system for your children. That's not an easy task. While everyone says in their heart of hearts that they would do it in an instant, that's a lot, especially, how long they lived in California to move to the other side, to a place that's, certainly unfamiliar to them. But to have that support system for Jared is awesome. I love that they talked about at the end about all the other Duke parents, right, who are going through this similar thing. Again, a unique experience of being a Duke basketball parent and how that works, and how the program has basically embraced them and welcomed them into the family. Those are little things that, when players are deciding where to go to school, that has become more of an important thing. You and I, when we went to college, it was probably like hey, good luck, we'll be down for parents weekend, but that's about it. And we'll see at holidays. But the fact that they were able to do that, I think that's awesome that they were able to do that. And that, we are able to see, firsthand what it is like to be a parent, because that's not something that, you're a parent, but you're not a parent of a Duke basketball player. And it's cool to see that that kind of dynamic and how it works.
And look, my last thing, I mean, the question that everyone wonders is how long are these star basketball players here on campus? And I love that. First of all, John Shire asked Jared, how long are you to be? And Jared's like, 4 years. And Lance is like, yeah, I think my kid should be there 4 years. And Gina's like, things may have changed. Yeah, mom knows reality there. And look, that is the reality that all of us deal with. And it makes perfect sense. I thought they were very honest, and we just had such a good time talking to them. A real pleasure, and we are just incredibly fortunate to be able to get that kind of insight from them. And then all the stuff about the TikTok is just hysterical. It's just great.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I don't have TikTok, but some of a lot of Jared McCain's dances and stuff make it over to Instagram, where I'm active on. But it's just great to see. Put a face in a just be able to talk to one of the stars of a lot of these things.
Yeah, exactly. So again, our thanks to Gina and Lance McCain for being with us today. They were a ton of fun. We could not be rooting for their son anymore. It's just not possible. We're the biggest fans of Jared McCain that you will find, other than his parents. So that's going to wrap it up on the latest edition of the Duke Basketball Roundup. For Donald, I am Jason. You're hearing them right now. This is the Duke Band. They're playing us out and taking us home. I have to tell all of you, I was about 30 seconds to a minute late opening up the Zoom room because I had to give do you guys have dogs?
Yes, right here next to me.
Oh, so my dog is taking some antibiotics.
Oh.
And my wife and I made up a whole bunch of little tiny meatballs that we slip the pills into to give to him,
Yeah.
I just went through 7 meatballs, and he eats the meatball and spits out the pill every time.
Gosh, I know the feeling. They are
Karen's
so
too smart for that.
It was driving me crazy.